Once described as the Cuba of Europe in boxing terms, Ireland has routinely punched above its weight, pun intended, in the ring. The country has won 19 Olympic medals, the 15th most of any country, which is very impressive when considering the population of just 5.1 million, 7 million if you include Northern Ireland. In the professional ranks, the nation has seen recent success. Anthony Cacace completely dismantled highly touted Welsh fighter Joe Cordina in Saudi Arabia in May. TJ Doheny gave a respectable account of himself against the Japanese monster Naoya Inoue. Katie Taylor defeated Chantelle Cameron in late November 2023, while Paddy Donovan beat Lewis Riston in May to go 14-0. And yet, beneath the evident natural affinity for boxing lies a more sinister preconception. A long-held prejudice used to paint the Irish populace in a specific, unfavourable light. What we now deem to be Irish grit and resilience was once previously viewed as being unable to regulate emotions and being inherently savage. Nowhere has the fighting man been more celebrated than in Ireland. For more than 2,000 years, the warrior culture has been at the very heart of Celtic society, with battles, even kingdoms, won and lost on the outcome of combat between champions. Unsurprisingly, the Irish took to bare-knuckle boxing in the 18th and 19th century with ease, with Michael Ryan, Dan Donnelly and Jack Langan excelling. As the British caused potato famine ensued in 1845, really sorry about that one lads, thousands of Irish headed to America where their descendants continued to flourish in the ring, chiefly through the revered John L. Sullivan. However, what often gets overlooked is the secondary battle these Irish brawlers faced. Dublin historian Patrick Myler interestingly notes that the term "the fighting Irish" can be a source of great shame or pride to an Irishman depending on the context in which it's applied. The traditional image of the drunken, brawling Paddy has been perpetuated by stand-up comics and caricaturists down through the years. Like the tight-fisted Scot, the passionate Frenchman, or the stern, work-obsessed German, the popular concept of the devil-may-care Irishman who is ready to fight at the drop of a shillelagh or over a bottle of whiskey is a common slanderous generalisation. I mean, this perception has persisted in a modern format.
You're not going anywhere, you tick lump. You say it till the job's done.
$2 on my boy.
Either any seed, I'll fight him. And I'm in London there crying. I'll fight any man, any time, any place, or for anything. And my phone number is 684-6373.
With Irish success in the boxing ring, many have been historically quick to detract and criticise Ireland's best fighters, often painting the pugilist with the derogatory "fighting Irish" tag. For every competent athlete, commentators and individuals have been quick to point out their flaws. This has included Roger Anderson's labelling of renowned bare-knuckle brawler Dan Donnelly as having a weakness for a drop of the hard stuff, sleeping with local hookers and succumbing to brash outbursts in the ring. Another notable example was mysterious Billy Smith, who was said to grapple like a grizzly in clinches, once ramming the heel of his glove into Joe Walcott's face before sinking his teeth into the fighter's head and attempting to shove his thumb into the opponent's eye.
Damn!
Temperament wasn't the only issue, with Patrick Myler describing Irish heavyweight Jack Doyle as being gifted but lacking self-discipline and dedication. This fighting Irish notion of lacking discipline and self-control has also been applied to question the technique and boxing IQ of fighters. Paddy Ryan was described as a better wrestler than boxer. Rinty Monaghan was often prone to the occasional stinkers, like getting riled up before being disqualified for persistent holding against Dado Marino. whilst Dan McAllinden allegedly never overcame his amateurish style of gambling on all-out aggression, leaving him open to a good counterpunch. Many of such claims are probably fair, but it does appear that critics are quick to align Irish fighters with the prejudiced characteristics from the Fighting Irish label. But this is where I feel many of Ireland's boxers have sought to adapt and improve in order to undermine the preconception of a mad swinging fighter. There have been a number of Irish pugilists who've demonstrated extensive skill and guile in the ring. Boxing history has produced two Jack Dempseys, with both boasting Irish heritage. Interestingly though, the lesser known non-pareil Jack Dempsey was born in Ireland before emigrating to the US. Having fought in the era that bridged both bare-knuckle and gloved combat, he entirely contradicted the derogatory Fighting Irish label, instead demonstrating exceptional accuracy and timing.
Boom, perfect timing.
Brilliant footwork and a unique skill at feinting to create openings. Meanwhile, bantamweight John Kelly was hailed as being beautifully balanced, cunning in defence, whilst routinely utilising feints and jabs, all the necessary attributes of a world champion according to the Irish press columnist Jim Davey, a far cry from the lumbering brawler. Secondly, many Irish boxers sought to draw respect through demonstrating extensive grit and determination, often to the point at which they were praised even after losing a bout. The connotations of brashness and anger associated with the Fighting Irish slur seem to have inspired Irish fighters to conduct themselves with grace and decorum, with renowned boxers like Jimmy McLarnin being praised for their good sportsmanship. With this conscious effort to disprove the derogatory stereotype and the natural affinity for fighting deep within their Irish blood, Ireland's fighters began to punch above their weight in both the amateur and professional circuits.
It's hard just to say at this stage, but I can't see any holes in him. He looks very, very good to me. Probably, I'd say, the best fighting man that Ireland has ever produced.
He hasn't found the range. Yes, he did. He's going with the right. Oh, the champion's over in this event. McGuigan is the champion of the world. They've all voted for him.
Down goes Henry Hughes midway in the third round. A solid shot from Billy Walsh.
I think that's the punch. It's also just to try and keep bobbing, weaving, moving.
WBO super middleweight champion Steve Collins, who successfully defended his title against Chris Eubank.
Although the Fighting Irish label has largely diminished in its prominence now, the turn of the 21st century has still seen the older Irish generation attempt to channel the youth's itch to fight into an effective avenue.
Brothers Christy and John Joe Joyce are two of their coaches. Now stay with me here. Christy is Johnny, Davy, Christy Jr. and Hughie's father, and John Joe is Davy Oliver, John Joe Jr. and Christy's father, and pride is certainly in abundance here.
At least with the boxing, I know where they are, that they're not roving around or streets or something like that. They're in the boxing and to be in the boxing club. Or actually, I do a small bit at home with them. Not much, but a little bit at home. And
fueled by rich boxing heritage and a desire to win more titles, Ireland will continue to defy the odds and produce top quality fighters consistently, in my opinion at least. Patrick Myler's book, The Fighting Irish, was published in 1987, and the speculative conclusions drawn are worth noting. He felt the success of McGuigan on the world stage would greatly inspire younger generations in both Ireland and Northern Ireland, and this view has held up somewhat.
It's very important for all to see the likes of Brian McGuigan and see what they can become if you just stick out the support and have determination.
Brampton's manager Barry McGuigan has had an invaluable influence on his career. It's been an incredible journey over the last 6 years.
Even Anthony Cacace was managed by McGuigan's Cyclone Promotions for a number of years, with the former legend wholeheartedly backing Anthony's talent. Yet alternatively, there have been those that have questioned the motives and influence the McGuigans have had upon Irish boxing as of late.
How is the relationship with the McGuigans now?
Oh, it's dead. There's no relationship. I'm just out of a court case with them, which was settled. It was settled, so no one can say they won or anything. But what I can say is I'm very happy with the settlement. I can say that. So, but there's no relationship.
But that's a story for a different video. However, now I'd like to hear from you guys. Who is your personal favourite Irish fighter of all time? Are there any major boxers which I've failed to mention, including those who have plied their trade outside of the Irish shores? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please consider liking and subscribing, it means the most. Much more content is coming your way. Cheers.